If you're a tarantula, then this wasp is bad news. Welcome back to Bug of the Week Part 24, brought to you by Lil Dudes Insect Academy. As always, if you are new here, consider subscribing, dropping a like, maybe even leaving a comment down below of your favorite part from this episode. Welcome back to my mini-series covering the most painful insect stings as we walk through the Schmidt Pain Index. And if you haven't watched the previous episode on this from last week, definitely go back and check that out before this episode. But this is part 2 in the Schmidt Pain Index, and if you don't know what that is, basically this guy named Justin Schmidt was stung by a bunch of different stinging insects and ranked them from least painful to most painful and made a big index as to which ones were the worst, which ones weren't so bad. And so we're going to be walking through the top few through this mini-series, and this is week 2. And next up on our bracket is this thing, the Tarantula Hawk wasp. The family of Pompilidae or spider wasps are known to parasitize spiders, laying their eggs in the spider host, acting as an immediate food source for the resulting larvae. And within this family of spider wasps is the genus of Pepsis, commonly known as the Tarantula Hawk wasp. Now currently there are about 250 described species of tarantula hawks known, and tarantula hawk wasps can be found from the northern tip of South America up to the southern states of the US. Now firstly, as usual, let's go over a little of the anatomy of the tarantula hawk. These wasps often have bright coloration as a warning to predators as being venomous, and many species have bluish bodies with bright orange wings, and some species also have black wings with blue highlights, as you can see here. Certain species can grow up to 2 inches in length, and females sometimes having a 7-millimeter stinger, making these one of the largest wasps out there. Another defining characteristic is their long barbed legs and their curly antennae. Adults also have large compound eyes and mouthparts, which they use for feeding on pollen and nectar. Now females, much like the velvet ant that we covered last week, have a ovipositor, which also doubles as a stinger. These wasps are also solitary animals, meaning they do not live in a colony like some other wasp species do. Now, these wasps are extremely docile, often bolting and flying away from any human interactions, so stings are really quite rare, and they sting very hesitantly. They won't just fly over to you and sting you for you making them mad or anything. You have to step on one for it to sting you. However, the rare occurrences of stings from these wasps have been reported as extremely painful. Researchers have reported a sting as instantaneous, electrifying, and totally debilitating pain. So, we know that these wasps don't use this stinger to attack humans. It's really just as a defense. So what do these wasps use this powerful weapon for in the wild? Well, buckle up, because this is where this gets crazy. A female wasp searches from the sky for an unfortunate adult tarantula. The unsuspecting tarantula is wrestled from above, and the hawk wasp strategically wrestles the tarantula into submission, stinging the tarantula just once right between its legs. The sting of this wasp is so powerful to this tarantula that it instantly paralyzes the adult tarantula in its tracks. The female wasp then drags the paralyzed tarantula back to the wasp's burrow, and what happens next is truly bizarre. Now, these wasps are, much like the velvet ant, parasitic, so the female lays a single egg inside the still alive tarantula using its ovipositor. Now, once the wasp egg hatches, the wasp larva burrows through the tarantula corpse, avoiding the vital organs to keep the host alive for as long as possible. Once the larva has fed enough, it pupates and an adult tarantula hawk wasp emerges from the tarantula. Isn't that just crazy? It's like it's from an alien movie or something. It's just crazy. And this can be seen in many wasp species. Like I said, there's a whole family that do this. There's a whole family of wasps that do this specifically with spiders, called the spider wasps, and this is just the largest of them. But many other wasps do it with caterpillars. They do it with cicadas. Like there's one called the cicada killer, and they do the same thing with cicadas. But many different wasps are parasitic. This is just maybe the most shocking and crazy example. Now, as is the case oftentimes in nature, these insects are brightly colored to warn predators that they are dangerous and to be left alone. And some species of bees and wasps are also known to have similar characteristics, as an example of Müllerian mimicry, which they also use to evade predators, basically mimicking the tarantula hawk wasp to confuse the predators to have them not approach them. Now, the tarantula hawk wasp is definitely a personal favorite of mine. They're just crazy. I have one in my collection, and they are just super crazy to look at. Just to see in person the sheer size of these wasps. You don't typically think of wasps as being large individuals, but like I said earlier, these tarantula hawk wasps are solitary, so you don't need to worry about a whole bunch of them swarming you at a time. They kind of just live alone. And like I said, they're super docile anyway. They don't want anything to do with you. So they're actually very hard to catch and collect in the wild because they are so good at flying and really fast, and they don't want anything to do with you. And they're faster than you, so there's really nothing to worry about. They really are hesitant to sting. Anyway, with that, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you did, leave a comment, subscribe, and drop a like as well on this video. I will see you all next week, but until then, keep on bugging.